Right.
Because he knows something that I don't know.
Right.
Which is the elements.
Right. If you worth $9 billion American and you in Africa, yeah, I'm gonna listen to you.
Riza.
You have
Islam.
an $18 million watch on your wrist. You can open up 18 independent black-owned banks, give out loans to every black-owned business, and literally have the people come out of economic slavery overnight. $18 million watch. I don't know what purpose you would have to have so much money walking around on your wrist. He promoted the company, and this is one thing that people have to understand when it comes to this boxing scenario, when they try to say, or when he made the foolish remark about him saying that he's better than Muhammad Ali. Okay, brother, weight class, character, class, as a man, in every way, Muhammad
Love
Ali
of God.
trumps him. Pardon the pun of Trump. But he absolutely in no way, the only thing he reflects is the lack of self-knowledge, the lack of integrity, the lack of knowing exactly who your people are, and he believes truly that you can rise above the condition of your people. According to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, no one man or woman can rise above the condition of his or her people. You may think you are doing well because they allowed one nigga to get in the ring to fight for their entertainment again. But that does not mean your people are doing just as well as you. And once the enemy comes and turns on you, because you will be too damn proud to where you will start to try to bite the hand that feeds you, they will show you just how much and how quickly of a nigga you are. And once they do that, you will try to come back to your people, and you have already burned the bridge to cross back over here. And so as a warning, he should be warned by certain people in his circle. And he should be educated, because the other part of this is that the brother cannot read well, which means he was never truly given knowledge of self. So to a degree, we can't entirely attack him. We have to be responsible and educate him if he chooses to receive it. But if we reach out and if we offer the education and then he rejects it, then we can say, good riddance, brother, you have already made your grave.
Let me tell you something.
And I say that out of love.
I use this all the time. You can have success doing shit the wrong way.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You can find success doing it. Look at Sean Marion. That jump shot.
Horrible.
It's a horrible jump shot, but that motherfucker went in from time to time.
It count.
Here's the problem with doing the shit the wrong way and getting success. You don't think you need to improve. You don't think you need to change. At some point, when that shot kept going in for Sean Marion, no disrespect, Sean, I love your game, nigga. You played hell of a defense. But when the shot go in, you go, well, fuck it. I don't need to change this shit. It go in. But as you keep going to higher levels, you need a higher level of skill, too. Then you start seeing the flaw in the shot. Same thing with Lonzo. In high school, that shot's okay, nigga. Behind your head, shooting from your hook. That's what
Shoot from your hook.
shoot from your hook. Right? You understand? That shit work in high school. Started to work a little less at UCLA. But you wasn't there long enough for niggas to really expose your ass with that shit. You get to the league, it's like, you don't get that slingshot.
Get out of here.
Shooting like my sister's kids.
You see what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making for Floyd, you've had success. And you're a man and you're a human being on top of that, and we all make mistakes. But to make this about you and miss the whole point of the one thing that has eluded us. See, boxing is a single man sport. It's like tennis. It's just about you and your opponent. So there's an individuality and a sense of ego attached to it. If you a bad motherfucker in boxing, you think you can defeat the world. That's what we've turned boxing champions into. But you got to remember, like Ali did, my community matters more than this belt. That's the separation between Ali and Floyd. The community meant more than the belt.
Absolutely.
Jeff?
That brings us back to the greatest conversation. Dear athletes, for the next 500 years, all greatest means is what you used your physicality to make outside of what you do great. Meaning, I don't give a fuck how fast you run. You're going to slow down. I don't give a fuck how far you can throw a ball. Your arm going to give out. I don't give a fuck how many dudes you can beat up. You're going to get old. What did that platform afford your people? And that is where it puts a foul taste in my mouth when I speak to dudes who are too young to have watched Muhammad Ali actually fight. When they compare directly Muhammad Ali to Floyd Mayweather, there is no comparison.
Never.
Here, prime example. In Chicago, Floyd, you might remember this. Muhammad Ali used to have a red Rolls Royce with a white interior. It came up missing. They went on the radio on WGCI and said somebody stole Muhammad Ali's Rolls Royce.
That bitch back.
In 45 minutes, it was sitting behind a police station with a note on the seat that said, "We sorry, champ. We didn't know it was yours. Mayweather will get jacked tomorrow. These niggas ain't bringing his car back because he ain't done nothing for him."
All the neighborhood goons, Mr. T followers, Mr. Pierce, Tony McCoy. These are old street gangsters I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I always try to tell, I ain't gonna say tell, I always look at the streets. The streets dictate. The streets dictate.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So when you make the bread, you gotta go home. Right? You gotta go home. You gotta go to the streets first.
Right.
Yeah. But once you miss the streets will start to develop with you.
Right.
There was one thing that Muhammad Ali, or should I say, Floyd Mayweather has in common. One thing, and that is not with Muhammad Ali, that is with Cassius Clay. Prior to when this man was resurrected mentally from the grave of ignorance, which is what we refer to being a Negro, meaning you do not have the knowledge of self, you don't have the knowledge of the time, you don't have the knowledge of the devil, you don't have the knowledge of God, you have no idea what is to be done currently. He was Cassius Clay. He was proud, he was prideful. He was all about Cassius. I am the greatest, he would say. I am the greatest.
Yeah.
The moment he was humbled and he went to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and he was given knowledge of self, he started to learn about his people, his history, his culture. Name Muhammad, meaning one who was worthy of praise and one who was praised much, which is now the most common name in America. Muhammad Ali, king. He was given that name, and then he started to say, God is the greatest. God is the greatest. He started to switch it to the original power and started to take it away from self as though you made yourself.
Yeah.
So Floyd Mayweather, has something in common with the old, ignorant, proud version of what later transformed and evolved into who now we refer to as Muhammad Ali. And he forgot who was in his corner, because every time you go on a break per round, you go back and sit your ass down with your people who give you an extra breath, some water, they clean your face off, they tell you where you're doing wrong and what you can do to make it right. But he continues to forget his team, his people in the corner, and then his people, which were in his corner, and we almost leaving them completely.
Bobby G.
Not just to isolate so much on Floyd, but use him as an example. A couple years ago, it's called the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It cost more than $1 billion to construct that.
Wow.
The gentleman I've mentioned frequently on this show, Wendell Stimley, was one of the contributors in terms of
Models of possibility.
Construction management on that project. He made a lot of money. If he could have, we tried to get to Floyd when they was in the design phase of this project. Had Floyd just took a microphone and said, I'm a resident of Las Vegas, it's some taxpayers' money tied up in this project. I'm sitting here with Wendell Stimley. Pass the microphone to Wendell, and another probably 35 to 40% of a $1 billion project would have went to black labor and black contractors. That's the power of celebrity. We don't always need them to give us no money.